Hello. Hello.
Hey, man.
Oh, cool. You can hear me all right?
Yeah, you're coming through.
All right, we're gonna start
Okay,
the
thank you,
stream.
buddy.
Mute yourself.
Hmm?
Yeah, it's muted.
Okay, Joe. Stream starting, so mute.
All by myself, don't wanna be all by myself anymore.
Good, because I'm right
Oh.
here coming in remote from the Jersey Shore. Hello.
Oh my
Movies
God.
Baby Nation.
Hello, Joe. Wait, hold on a second. Now let me get I thought I was going to have to do this whole show by myself. I was just about to have a massive, like, all that jazz style mental breakdown.
No need.
Okay.
I'm here on a, right now seemingly fine, soon to be probably a little annoying delay. But we are going to have an incredible show today, Brett, with a lot to cover.
I mean, you're coming in. You're coming in like right on top of me, unless we're at the point where you're predicting what I say before I say it. It sounds like we're pretty much in real time synchronicity here across the coasts. Can you imagine? You imagine what Alexander Graham Bell would think of this, what Thomas Edison would think of this?
They'd love this, Brett.
They would be obsessed about this. They would say, "Oh boy, we had grander things in mind. We had grander plans in mind for this technology."
Yeah.
Well, speaking of important news around the movies, is that what we were talking about? Speaking of that, I had another cold open in mind, Joe, but I had to scrap it because we got some of the most important breaking news, I think, of since we've been doing this show. Which is that I believe it was just this weekend or maybe Friday, we found out that comedian Matt Rife, one of our bigs, one of our Mount Rushmores, Matt Rife, just relentlessly touring comedian, just stacking up the dough. And now he's using that dough because we found out that Matt Rife bought the Conjuring house. He bought the house that was owned and resided in by Ed and Lorraine Warren, the paranormal investigators played by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga in the Conjuring series. And this house includes, among other haunted artifacts, the very Annabelle doll. The very doll.
It has all the artifacts are in it.
It's a museum, essentially. They bought a spooky museum.
It is. I mean, they bought a haunted museum, and they're going to turn it back into a museum. That's like the business idea here, I guess.
Can we, Gabe? Can we look at this this announcement, because this is big. This is big. This is like
hey guys,
this is like
super random.
Oh wait, hold on.
Incredible announcement.
All right, there we go. Can you pause it 1 second, Gabe? There we go. Okay, so this is, and sorry if you have to turn it up a little bit. We're maxed out on the volume. They got to master their audio before they put these clips out. But we're gonna max it out. If you've got to up your volume, do that. But all right, this is Matt Rife's announcement he put on Instagram. No warning, by the way. This is like preceded by a crowd work clip and then followed by a crowd work clip. So like no warning that this was coming. He just pops onto Instagram. He's like, hey, I bought Annabelle in the Conjuring house. So let's take a listen to this. This is Matt Rife. And Gabe, I might ask you to pause this as we go along.
The Ed and Lorraine Warren's Home and Occult Museum with my very good friend Elton Castay. If you guys have ever seen any of the Conjuring films, the Annabelle films, or even Amityville Horror, this is the home that inspired all of those stories. This might be the most important and prominent piece of paranormal history in the world.
All right, Gabe, can you stop real quick? Why is he talking?
Maybe, Matt.
Why is he talking like he's trying to get us to contribute to a super PAC? This thing has like a very.
Right.
This is like a political.
If I may, it's because they put him up to this to promote the movie.
Right.
Do you feel that?
Okay, good. So yeah, we should say that there is a new, not coincidentally, there is a new Conjuring movie coming out. Last Rites. This is obviously timed around the release of that. Yeah. Gabe and I were talking before we started recording. This is basically like how commercials work now. This is how marketing works now. Everything is like viral and like high concept. And this is
they know you hate being advertised to.
Yeah.
They know that, and they are smart and they are good at this. And this is part of a 360 campaign somehow. And Paramount owns 10% of it, and now Matt Rife owns, Rife owns 40% of it. And then the other YouTuber owns 40%. This is like part of the blend for the movie. It has to be. it's just too on the nose. Don't you feel that, Brett?
I do. So Matt Rife wants to convince us that he is just a like diehard fan of the paranormal. But what really happened is his agent reached out to them and said, "Hey, the Conjuring movie has a great idea for some branded promotion. Are you down for it? You do have to put your name on the mortgage for a house, and it is haunted, but the money is great." And Matt said, "No problem. I got to keep these cougars fed. I got to keep the money train rolling. Let's go. Let's go."
Brett, the other gentleman is a paranormal YouTuber.
Okay,
you know?
So this is Elton Castee, and I'm really glad that he included Elton in this deal, his close friend Elton. I feel like Elton is the fall guy if this all goes south and like somebody dies in the haunted house. I feel like there he is, rise above fear. Okay, so Elton is going to get his face chewed off by that doll the first night he sleeps in this house.
And I don't know if you have this on your rundown or whatever, but just for a little context, 2 weeks ago, some paranormal showman was taking the Annabelle doll around on some sort of haunted tour.
Okay.
And was dead in his hotel room like a month ago, 2 weeks ago.
So this is real.
And they still haven't figured out what the cause of this is.
Yes.
This is real. They're still trying to figure out like the cause of death, but the Annabelle doll was like on site. He was going around with it. Now the Annabelle doll's back in the house or whatever. But it just killed somebody.
Yeah, this is like Ned Beatty's speech in Network. You are messing with the primordial forces of nature. You know not what you mess with. And I guess Elton is like a paranormal investigator on YouTube. I mean, that doesn't feel that's about as qualified as Ed and Lorraine Warren, just two of the biggest hucksters of all time. As you pointed out in previous episodes. Yes.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, or they're real, but they're not. So
it could be, it honestly could be both. It could be that there are demonic forces that walk amongst us, and Ed and Lorraine Warren, much like every religious figure in history, is like manipulating that for their own gain. It could be both.
I think that ultimately this purchase makes sense because Rife is in a good position to own a bunch of haunted artifacts. He feels already like the most cursed man alive. You know, he does. Like he lives a visual monkey's paw for us all to like watch. Like he obviously sold his soul to the devil, which is fine, whatever, no shade. But like he's so deeply cursed at this point that this is just gravy. He has no fear.
This was probably a classic like everyone wins scenario. Like his agent was like, "Hey Matt, I got a thing for you. It's gonna sound weird, but it checks every box. Okay." Conjuring Last Rites wins.
I know you've been looking to purchase a lot of haunted property, right?
I know you're trying to sort of like exorcise this demonic curse that's been put on you. I've got a good opportunity for that. Also, Conjuring Last Rites gets to market their movie. The Ed and Lorraine Warren Foundation or whatever gets to stay alive for another year. Like everybody wins. Everybody wins. That guy you hate, Elton Castee, will die horribly in the house. So like everybody wins, Matt. Everybody wins. Can we watch just a little bit more of this video, though? I want to see what else he's got to say about this.
Demonology and ghost hunting and paranormal investigation.
Sounds like Robert Langdon trying to talk about
now. I know a lot of you guys
symbology.
Don't know what any of this means whatsoever, but if you follow ghost stuff, this is about as big as it gets.
This is the Super Bowl, people.
What does this all mean? It means that Elton Castee and myself are the owners of the physical Ed and Lorraine Warren's home and occult museum. We are the legal guardians and caretakers of all 750 haunted artifacts and items.
What's that? Legal guardians and caretakers? Hold on a second. Sorry. Does that mean that he has to wipe Annabelle's ass? Like, what is that?
Well, no, it means if Annabelle kills somebody, he's in trouble.
He's in trouble.
Yes.
They set him up so hard for this. They set him up so hard. He is going to get framed for some Annabelle hijinks. They're going to be parading
50 artifacts. If anybody dies while holding any of them in the next decade, Rife is going straight to jail. Don't collect $200.
The next step is they're going to invite every critic who ever had a bad thing to say about the Conjuring movies for like a fun event at the Conjuring house.
That's good.
And then they're all going to have blood coming out of their eyes in about 5 minutes.
That's fantastic.
Well, I wish Matt Rife and Elton Castee the best in this little venture. And apparently, it's going to be made available as an Airbnb as well. So if you want to go stay if you ever wanted to to stay in the Annabelle house during its Matt Rife era, this is the time to do it. This is the time right now.
Well, yeah,
right now.
Honestly, I wouldn't have gone before, but now it is a little bit more appealing. If we're being 100%,
we should definitely look into this. We should go.
But I want Matt Rife to show me around. I don't want a different. I want Matt to show me around. Do you think we could hook that up somehow? Maybe talk to Gabe, our producer. He could hook that up somehow.
Yeah, Gabe, if you can sort of maybe get us I assume it's going to be some sort of bidding process, like a limited number of days. Let's go high on the bid. Let's say Matt needs to be there. Yep. Elton Caste's not enough. We want Rife there, and we don't tell him it's like a challenge, and it'll go viral on the internet. Who can stay the longest in the Annabelle house. And then we just in the middle of the night we take Annabelle out of because it's just a fucking Raggedy Ann doll. What are we talking about? We take Annabelle out and we put it in Matt Rife's room. We put it in the corner of Rife's room and really scare the shit out of him.
Can you imagine how much funny shit these two fucking knuckleheads are going to get up to on YouTube with the Annabelle doll? It's going to be fucking laugh a minute.
It's just going to be Matt Rife in there with a mic going, hey, how about you? Where do you work? What do you do for a job? It's just doing crowd work with Annabelle. All right. What do you say, Joe? You want to get this thing started for real?
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah, baby. Coast to coast. We don't stop. Gabe, can you roll that theme song, please?
Film critic. The power of movies must be protected. The best thing about movies is the feeling they give. It's a feeling I want to feel every day. Movies, baby! Movies, baby! Movies, baby! Movies, baby!
I love it, breakfast.
Welcome to Movies, baby. I'm your host, Joe Cilio, here as always with my co-host, Brett Boehm, a.k.a. the Georgia Movie Dog.
Hey, go Dogs! That's pretty good without the cheat sheet on the wall in front of you. Oh, go Birds! Go Birds! Hey, I was going to ask you, I should ask you offline, but I was thinking of going to a Rams preseason game this weekend at SoFi. Are you back in town this weekend?
How fun is that?
Would it be?
I might be. Yeah, hit me up.
All right, I'll hit you up.
Yeah,
I'll hit you up because guess what? Awesome. Speaking of the dogs, apparently Stetson is going to start. Stetson Bennett's going to start. He's still on the team.
Then you have to go.
I get to relive the glory days, baby, the glory years. But we're not here to talk about football or college football. We are here to talk movies. We're coming live to you from the San Fernando Valley and the Jersey Shore, coast to coast. We saw Happy Gilmore 2 this weekend. I saw the Naked Gun movie in theaters. Yeah. We're going to tell you what we thought about these movies, and we're going to decide once and for all. We keep having this conversation. Is comedy back? Is comedy back? Are comedy movies back? We're going to talk all about that. Plus, we've got an expose on the state of the modern press tour. We saw a little bit of it there with Matt Rife just advertising for Conjuring Last Rites in the weirdest way possible. But we're going to look at the Together press tour later on and kind of break down what's going on with these press tours. Why do we make these big celebrities just jump through so many hoops these days? Is it good? Is it bad? Is this just the future of everything? We'll talk all about that. And then in the second half of the show, this is for Patreon subscribers only. It is a very, very, very special episode of Weekend at Bergman's, Amadeus versus Purple Rain. That's right, the musician rivalry, the rival musicians episode of Weekend at Bergman's that you have been waiting for. We're doing it in the second half, but it's only for Patreon subscribers. Only for Patreon subscribers. If
I may,
please.
A little preview. I would never spoil anything, but I got to say, both of those films, Amadeus with Purple Rain, they're must-watch movies, baby. They're must-watch. These are great movies. Yes. I am glad to hear you say that. This is definitely one of the closest, I will say, as a preview, this is one of the closest competitions that we've had in our 1980s season. We've had some close competitions, but this is definitely, this is not a landslide in either direction, okay? This is going to be a real close one. I don't know at this moment which movie I'm choosing to go on. I don't know which one is better. I'm going to have to think about it. I'm going to hear what you say. I'm excited to hash it out, but you got to be on Patreon.
You got to be on Patreon for that. Patreon.com/moviesbaby with 5 Ys. Start with a 7-day free trial. See where it goes from there. You're going to love it. Spoiler alert. Gabe, show me the money. And by the money, I, of course, mean the weekend box office returns, baby. Uh-oh. Oh, so Fantastic Four First Steps, no surprise, is number one for a second week.
First step, yeah.
Number one for a second week. Oh, that's okay. Second week in a row. But we have a scary looking number there, Joe. It did gross another $40 million domestic, and its global cum is up to $369 million. Those are big numbers by any account after 2 weeks. But that number in the red, Joe, what does that number say? How big of a drop?
66%.
66%. And you know the rule. If it's under 60, you're in that. We should come up with a rhyme for this.
Yeah.
If it's under 60,
it's not getting fixedy.
No, if it's under 60, that's good. So if it's under 60,
right.
You might as well be a Swiftie because you're on top of the world. You're rooting for a winner. You like that? Nope. Okay, we'll work on this. Basically, if it's under 60, that's considered good for a second week drop. If it's above 60, suddenly everyone freaks out like the frickin' world is on fire. But 66% drop in the second week is not great for a Marvel movie. Marvel was definitely holding its breath for a long tail. This has been really the thing that's become elusive to them is movies that stay popular, stay making money week after week. They're still very good at opening pretty big, maybe not as big as they used to, but opening pretty big. All the fans are there. They're dressed up in their Fantastic Four outfits. But then once all the Super Marvel fans see it, the rest of the world's kind of like, take it or leave it. And it's been that way now for their last three movies, Captain America. I mean, more than the last three, but the three movies they released this year all had this same rhythm to them. Big opening weekends, relatively big, and then dropping off the face of the earth. What's going on here?
They trained their audience on streaming. They spent billions of dollars to migrate their theater-going audiences to streaming. And Marvel was a humongous part of Disney Plus's development. And Disney Plus is a successful streamer as far as streamers go, and it's going to go the distance. And they did a good job establishing that and supplementing their linear business to the best of their ability. But let's all be honest, they just fucking destroyed theatrical by making 1 million Marvel TV shows, turning it into TV, and now they're mad that people aren't going to the movies. Like, you just told everybody they can get all their Marvel on Disney Plus forever and always, and their ESPN and their Hulu all bundled. So, like, fuck off complaining. But you know what, Marvel? I'm your guy on this show that likes to say, hey, I'd rather have Marvel's problem than somebody else's success. But, you know, Brett, Fantastic Four is another Marvel movie that's not going to do $300 million domestic.
Isn't that crazy?
That's pathetic.
Isn't that crazy?
That's pathetic.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
With all the money they have, with all the resources they have, the entire film industry bends, to their whims. So with all that, you have to open big. You can't occupy the fucking king slot and not just open big, but stay big. Stay big with a big tail, make lots of money. And if you're not going to do that, I've said this before, you got to move out of the top slot. If you can't hit your release deadlines and then you fuck up the entire, movie calendar for the year like they did last year, like they're going to do next year, and then when you finally open, these movies fall off the face of the cliff after a week, you got to move out of the top slot. Someone else has to take it. And I think that'll just naturally start happening if they can't start, really conquering the box office again. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of people are saying, look, as long as they get to Avengers in one piece, they'll be fine. I don't know, though. At this point, who knows? How many of the old classic stars are still in it? Not all of them. How much broad appeal do these movies still have? They don't seem to have a lot of broad appeal left.
I think they have broad appeal left, and that's it. Because, I think that just superhero fatigue is officially real. Like Superman and First Steps, that was a DC reboot and a version of a Marvel reboot. That's that. You know what I mean? Like, this is what it's like now. They were both going to do great, and Superman's around 500 million, and then Fantastic Four is going to come in like a little under that. That's superhero fatigue. I think they just made 1 million in one of these movies. And,
Yeah, it's natural.
That's what's
natural.
That's what's up.
It's natural.
It's okay.
And it's also a good indicator that, you can't really tie cinema score and Rotten Tomato scores to box office performance anymore. Because I think Marvel was really thinking, this one's going to have a long tail because it's got an 86% critic score and a 92% audience score in Rotten Tomatoes. But that is also like that's just as sort of like front loaded as the ticket sales, where who's writing all these like audience score positive reviews on Rotten Tomatoes? It's the super fans. Like the movie is, you know, like we said in our reviews last week, the movie is like mediocre to sort of bad, and that's not going to inspire anybody but the super fans to come out on Rotten Tomatoes. So all of this stuff is just so like, it's all tribalism. It's also like specific to the fan group, but outside of the fan group, you know, they're just like, you could just feel it in the air. There was no virality around this movie. There was no sort of like general enthusiasm. Like the only people into it were people who have made this their job to be into it, aka like Marvel super fans. Everyone else kind of like was a big shrug on this movie. And there has to be some sort of, we need like a shrugometer on Rotten Tomatoes, which is like, okay, yeah. It's like got a 92%, whatever. These numbers don't mean anything anymore. What's like the general vibe? Is it like, ooh, leaning in, or is it like a shrug, or is it like they're not even aware of the movie? And this to me would have gotten a shrug. Everyone else was just a big shrug on Fantastic Four.
Yeah. But even Superman, where there was like a day of everybody thinking it was going to be exciting, and then the next day everyone realized like, it's really not. Like these are just, they're just I think we've done this a million times. They're just, instead of $1 billion, they're making 500 million, and that's a lot. And they just have to readjust, and they have to make movies for 170 million instead of 300 million. And they just like, and that's okay. But yeah, I mean, you know, nothing gold can stay, Pony Boy. I don't know what to tell you. It's fucking the 700th one in 15 years, you know?
Man, this Avengers movie, I can already feel is going to be a disaster. Like, no finished script.
About the Spider-Man, the third, fourth, whatever, Holland Spider-Man will do well because Holland's hot now.
That's
whatever.
That's
so
it. We just saw Holland,
good,
and Holland's going to have like the back-to-back of Odyssey and the Spider-Man movie. Holland's going to have a massive year.
And you know, Spider-Man, Batman's Batman. I thought Superman was Superman. You know, those movies should deliver, but like everybody else, like Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Captain America 12 with the second Captain America. Like, what are we like? It made a ton of money. Adjust your budgets. We're not coming back to $1 billion unless it's Avengers, right? So
Bland Lifestyle in the chat makes a good point, which is just that I get maybe Fantastic Four just doesn't work on movies. Maybe this is like the ultimate proof of that. We've seen it, you know, and you could sort of write it off as like, oh, the other movies were cheesier, they didn't have the right casting, or this and that, or that, and that one with Miles Teller was like very like grim looking and Zack Snyder-y, which is not the vibe for Fantastic Four. Blah blah blah. Now they matched it perfectly to the vibe. You have all the budget in the world. You have the hottest stars in the world, and it still doesn't really get people interested in a big way. Fantastic Four, maybe it's just for the comic books. Maybe it's not for movies. I do want to say, though, highly recommend. There's no reason to go see First Steps if you haven't already seen it. It's totally mediocre. Joe said it was bad. It's somewhere in there. What I would watch instead, go on Tubi and look for a documentary called Doomed, The Untold Story of Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. It is amazing. If you don't know the story of the first attempt to adapt Fantastic Four in 1994 by Roger Corman, it's incredible.
Tell me.
It is one of the ultimate sort of like Hollywood stories I've ever heard. They basically did like a producer's thing where like somebody had, because you know Marvel used to sell off the rights for nothing. So that's why the rights got distributed all over the place to different entities. Basically, the guy that had the Fantastic Four rights was trying to get Marvel to buy them back from him. And so he essentially blackmailed them by like making a bad Fantastic Four movie and then like, you know, threatening to release it if they didn't buy the rights back. But the thing is, so we got Roger Corman, of course. He called up Corman, and the first, like, the interview was with Corman in the documentary, and he's like, they called me and said I could have $1 million budget. And I said, great. That's more money than I know what to do with. And then so Roger Corman goes and tries to make a Fantastic Four movie for $1 million. And the best part of it is, the best part / saddest part, but also like I root for these people. They're the winners of the movie. Is like the cast and like the director and the VFX team were like so into this movie and were like giving it everything. They ended up like working for free at the end and like paying for shit themselves because they were trying to get it made after the budget had got cut. And then they like got it made, and then they find out after they go to Comic-Con, because that was like the final play, was like, we're gonna take the trailer to Comic-Con if you guys don't buy these rights back. We're serious about this. They because the movie's just so low budget, it had no like. But I'll say this, from the clips I saw in the documentary, I would pay to watch this 10 times before I would pay to watch First Steps again. This thing looks so fun. It's so kitschy. Anyway, highly recommend Doomed, The Untold Story of Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four on Tubi. Oh, and I'm seeing in the chat some of the cast from that movie had cameos in First Steps. That's cool. I did not know that. I did not know that.
All right. Well, respect.
That's awesome because they're all really cool characters. All right, really quick. We also had 3 new releases this week in 3 very specific verticals. We had an animated kids movie come out, we had a comedy come out, and we had an indie horror come out. Bad Guys 2, the animated kids movie, did fine. It did well. It made $22 million domestic. Thanks, Gabe. That was the horse mare came up from Zootopia 2. That made $22 million domestic, 44.5 global cume. That is like right on par with the first movie. The analysis I was reading said this is like pretty good, on par for an animated sequel, particularly one with a budget of only $80 million. Now, this thing did not have a massive budget, so it's still got a little ways to go before profit, but I could see this thing having a long tail. It's not going to get any major competition anytime soon. And I also want to say, this is more important than the money. I took Sandy to see Bad Guys 2 this weekend. Best kids movie of the year. It fucking rocks. It is so much fun. Awesome. Mark Maron is really funny in it. He does like a voice. He does like a character voice, and he's so good. And he's like committed.
Mark doesn't just do like a Mark Maron.
He doesn't just do Maron.
Doing an accent.
I didn't know who Maron was at first. I knew he was in it.
That's awesome.
I know. No, it's amazing. He's like good at voice acting. It's kind of crazy.
I love when people they're hired because they have like a famous shtick and voice, and then they change it. That is awesome.
And it's I will say, it's like a version of Maron, but it's like a very charactered up version of Maron. And I literally did not.
He's a good actor.
He's a good actor. Yes. I did not know it was him at first. So it's really funny. It's also just like a fun movie. Like they made a movie for kids. Like that was the relief of watching it. Sandy leaned over to me after like a really cool car chase because it's all like Ocean's 11 heist stuff. Yeah. And he leaned over to me and he goes, "This is cool." And I was like, you're right.
You're kidding. That's nice.
I know.
Dude.
I was like, this is cool. This is a cool movie for kids.
My cousin's little boy, he's 6. He came all my family was down the shore, so or whatever, a lot of them. And he had like a stack, like 4 Bad Guys books, and he and Enzo were spending like an hour yesterday looking through them. Like apparently it's fun and cool, and kids love it.
It's so much fun, and the animation's amazing, and it's like you can enjoy it as an adult, but it's not for you; it's for the kids. So just like it hit all of my boxes for a kids movie. I loved it.
Hey Brett, you should go into TikTok so people can tell you you're a piece of shit.
Oh, right. Yeah. This is a real... Actually, now I might be like held up on their shoulders because I like a kid's movie. Just be a kid's movie. That's all I ask. Okay. Naked Gun. We're going to talk about Naked Gun a little bit more in a second, but it made $17 million domestic, 28.5 global cume. That is the top grossing comedy opening this year, outpacing One of Them Days, which earned $11.8 million domestic in its opening weekend, but that was in January. So still an incredible achievement for One of Them Days. But Naked Gun, a lot of people have to be breathing a sigh of relief right now. And the biggest person breathing a sigh of relief is the guy who showed up at my screening, Akiva Schaffer, the director. I know, isn't that cool? Yeah, he came in before, and you could tell he was like nervous and like for the opening weekend because he wasn't really like he didn't have any bits or jokes, and he was just like, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for coming out to this movie because my screening was packed, and every screening I was looking at this weekend was packed. So this is big. Look, this is big. On a budget of $42 million, they're already at 28.5 global. And this is already more. This is the important thing, I think, is this is already more than the entire run of Popstar. This is already more than what Popstar made in its entire run. The famous, very good movie that bombed in theaters, also co-directed by Akiva Schaffer. And he kind of alluded to that when he showed up at the screening. He was like, this hasn't always been the case for my movies, that they're like full house's opening night, but this is like the dream, so thank you so much. What do you think? Is this a good sign, Naked Gun bringing in this amount of money opening weekend?
Yeah, totally. I think this is all a good sign. I think it's a good sign that the box office was able to put out a well-rounded slate for this weekend. And yeah, I mean, we can all boo-hoo that Fantastic Four didn't have 30% attrition. It's going to make $1 trillion. But what we should actually be happy about is that we have a superhero movie, we have an indie horror, we have a comedy, and a kids movie, and they all did great this week in the box office. Come on now, Brett.
Come on. Now, speaking of the indie horror together, Made 6.8 million domestic opening weekend, and again, not bad for an indie horror. Neon bought this for 17 million at Sundance, and then Dave Franco and Alison Brie went out and did a press tour for The Ages. More on that in a second. It's not bad. I do have to think with like how much that Brie and Franco killed the press tour and how much they spent for it. I have to imagine they were hoping for a little bit better than this. Not a disaster, but I have to imagine they were hoping for like a little bit better. Am I wrong?
Not a disaster. We know that you're not wrong, I guess. So, the Sydney Sweeney one opened, the Immaculate opened with like a 9 million weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm just sort of thinking of like famous people-ish, not she's very famous, but famous people doing indie horror. So they opened at 7. It's not amazing, but I think, we know how horror plays on, the SVOD, AVOD after the fact, right? Like on TV, people are going to buy it. Like, La La La. Yeah, I guess you're right, Brett. A little disappointing, but ultimately, hey,
not terrible, not terrible. I do have 2 comps for you. The Substance is obviously the biggest comp because that's like the movie that brought body horror back into the public consciousness or whatever. Right. So this is also doing body horror, trying to capitalize on the Substance's popularity. The Substance only did 3.2 opening weekend. It was distributed by Mubi though, who doesn't have a huge sort of distribution apparatus at that point. But it went on to do 80 million total because it just hit the zeitgeist and got nominated for so many awards and all this. I don't think Together is going to have that kind of a tale, and I think I wonder if we overstated the like body horror is back thing. Maybe it was just The Substance was a movie that people liked, as opposed to the genre coming back in a big way. And then the other comp is Long Legs, another neon horror with like some big names in it. Yeah. Long Legs opened at 22.4 and then went on to make 128. Yeah, I mean, look, definitely not a disaster. There's a lot of indie horrors that wish they could make this money. Yeah. Sorry, what?
Just like maybe part of it is Alison Brie and Dave Franco just isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying is maybe it's like I'm not saying it's like maybe it's their fault that it got bought for $17 million and that's great, and it's their fault that this is going to make basically their money back and they're good. And I heard it was good from trusted sources.
Yeah, we're going to review it next week as a part of a special horror episode. Not this week.
But maybe some people were just like, we'll go to the horror movie next week.
Yeah,
I don't know if I like that.
Well, I wonder if the huge press tour could have even backfired in a way. And I want to talk more about the state of the press tour right now because, and I want to be clear out of the gate, I don't even remotely blame Dave Franco and Alison Brie for any of this. They are just doing their job, and they are doing it fantastically well. They committed so hard.
Talent.
Yes,
dream. Yes,
they committed to every dumb thing that their team asked them to do, and that Neon asked them to do, and they killed it. They are just doing their job. This is no shade on them at all. I am just curious about what are we doing right now with these press tours, because it used to be the old thing was you go on Carson, or later you go on Leno and Letterman, and then maybe you sit down with Charlie Rose if it's like a smart movie. And then, they would add Good Morning America, Graham Norton, Andy Cohen, they add that.
Host SNL.
But yes, host SNL, but it was still very sort of legacy media oriented. But now it is just a new media free-for-all, and the only goal is to go viral by any means necessary. And so you got to go eat the hot wings. You got to go do your Subway take. You got to answer the most embarrassing questions, personal questions, on the street from like a teenager. Like these press tours are insane now. And so I wanted to take a look. I cut a little montage of the Together press tour because I don't know about you, but I could not pick up my phone over the last 2 weeks without seeing Alison Brie and Dave Franco like just doing something absolutely ridiculous to promote Together. So let's take a look at this montage if we can. And again, there's no shade to Alison Brie and Dave Franco, who really did a good job at this. I'm just saying, like, what are we doing here? What is this? Because everybody's got to fucking do this shit now. All right,
everyone does this. Yeah, it's not about them.
Let's take a look at this.
We got teeth to armpit.
What if I go to armpit hair? Just a little.
Oh, that's nasty.
Oh.
Pedro Pascal.
And Oscar Isaac.
There we go.
I love how you're finishing each other's sentences.
You think I can't eat this big of a wing?
It's not nothing.
Which of your past co-stars would you rather be stuck together with? Jesse Eisenberg or Seth Rogen?
Would you rather shower
That one was
alone
AI.
or together?
Separately.
I think separately.
Oh my God.
Will Smith and Chris Rock.
That was like 5, I'd say. And we just kept getting closer and closer to the point where like we could like feel our eyelashes on each other.
He's
Allison
answering
Brie
questions
was
about
caught
the movie.
cutting Dave Franco's toenails in public, and fans
she's
can't
licking
stop
his
talking
eye.
about it. Some found it strange, while others believed it could be a promo stunt for their
You
new
think?
horror film together.
Here we go.
Here they are at a baseball game wearing a sweatshirt that's been knit together.
Here we go.
Here they are trying to buy the Annabelle house, but Rife already put his bid in.
Rife already put a bid in. All right, now he's brushing her teeth like in the old thing where he pretends his arms are her arms. Now they're just covered in rats.
Slow burn horror film.
Now they're just covered in rats answering questions about the
Basically from
movie.
Chest up. That's a bust, right?
All right, now this is like, now they're so viral. They're in the corner of a Wendy's, like making out, and somebody's like filming them on their camera, acting like this is just them in their real life. Okay, all right, and I want to stress that was like a tiny. That was not even the whole thing. That was maybe half of the bits and skits and segments that they did.
Right.
So Joe, I mean, what do you think? What is going on here? Is this just inevitable and necessary, or is this gonna like? Yeah, please tell me.
No, this is the world we made. This is what we chose. Like, we had linear television. We had Johnny Carson, and we chose this. This is what we earned. We earned this. Hollywood earned it, and we, the consumer, earned it. Just an insufferable press tour full of games for children, fucking poking around in the dark for virality. It's sad. I hate it. And most of all, how did we not book them on any Forever Dog podcast?
I know. What a huge miss.
They were very available.
What a huge miss.
And we
they probably would have come over here to the studio and like wrestled in mud or something.
We should be doing a list of like top 5 body horrors with them right now, Brett, but we're not, you know, so, but I really like, I think it's really hard. I think that so Colbert recently, famously, of course, just got let go because of politics, but also because of money, for real, right? Probably more politics, but the money
it's
is
definitely
facts.
both, though. We should stress it is definitely politics.
It's both.
There is also like a real like financial rot in the late night model right now. It's a problem.
Okay, exactly. So focusing on that element for a quick second, you know, is Tom Cruise really going to go and like to like the little kids that eat fruit and sit around and plug his next movie? Like, no. Like, one of the reasons those assets had so much value, I think, is it was a very nice place to send Charlize Theron to do her thing. Like, we kind of forget about that element of it. Like, it's classy. It's all right there in Hollywood, or you go to New York and it's like right there. They have talent people bring you in. It's nice. There's a system. Everybody knows how to do it. The hosts are pros. They're going to make you look great. Easy peasy. But to your point, I kind of feel bad for Allison Brie and Dave Franco and everybody. Now they have to do like Double Dare 2000 every time they want to.
So foolish.
Every time they want to plug a movie, like, I'm sure there's cool podcasts. You know, Ari Aster went on Office Hours this week. Represent. That's awesome.
That's fun.
So I'm sure there's like cool podcasts that you can go on and stuff, and you don't have to jump through hoops. And I didn't see Ari Aster like eating like a big coconut cream pie race against fucking whatever, Susan Sarandon or whatever. But, you know, I don't know. And like, you know, Fallon famously, they're doing beer pong at late night. Like, no one's to blame, but it's one of those history things. Like you said, Brett, the other week, like it's one of those Oliver Stone's JFK things. We're all responsible.
We're all
for this
complicit
tragedy,
in our own little ways. It wasn't some big guy at the top pulling a switch. We're all complicit in this, and it's really the cart driving the horse. Is that like influencer media and social media and viral media is now like deciding how the entertainment industry runs. And that's crazy because they're bad at entertainment. We watch them out of a little bit of Schadenfreude, but now our Schadenfreude has like made them the mainstream of the entertainment industry. And so now this is, like you said, this is the world we all contributed to and are living in. I got to fix that box again. Go ahead.
I think Hot Ones, in fairness, has earned its place. That's all I'll say. I think Hot Ones went slow and steady and has been doing the work, and therefore I give him a pass, even though he is the absolute perfect dictionary definition of what you're talking about. I just want to say he's been putting in the work for 10 years. He's a weird, boring guy. But you know what? I have watched some hot ones and I have enjoyed them. And I just need to be honest, Brett, on theme with the podcast. That's all.
That is fair. That is fair. Sorry, I'm just fixing my camera real quick.
No,
That is
it's all
fair.
good.
Hot ones is a little bit different. It's a little bit different, and he asks such good questions. Please,
I am teeing you up.
he
to
asks
do your shtick.
He asks okay questions. Okay.
Yeah, he asks not bad questions.
Do you think that your like former experience working with Martin Scorsese prepared you for a director who likes to storyboard?
I think it's undignified to see Harrison Ford and people like that jump through the PR hoops that they have to do these days to win an Emmy.
Leave the movie stars out of it. Leave the real movie stars out of it. And also, like,
I am the problem. Like, we have a company based on viral media moments because we're a new media company. But I'm not trying to get Harrison Ford to embarrass himself and pull his pants down on the fucking Best Show. You know what I mean? Like,
no, and there's also like just there's ways to do it right. There's ways to do it well. All the old rules are still the same. Like, you know, we're all just trying to be like funny and interesting and compelling for audiences. But this like press tour stuff is nonsense. It's out of control. It's just foolish behavior. It's child behavior. And I want to I'm not saying that we have to treat our movie stars like gods and put them in glass cases, but this is just like not fun. It's like tacky and boring. Like the thing where like they have rats crawling all over them. Why would I sit down and just watch that? And then while they're just answering like the most basic ass questions about their movie, it is just like they get all the like creatives in a boardroom somewhere in like Playa del Rey or wherever, and they're just like, give us 10 ideas real fast, and all the ideas are bad, and they do all 10 ideas. It's just like there's a way to do like the fun viral press tour, but this is just like I do think like when Smile 2 did the smiling people in the baseball game was really funny. I do think like when Alison Brie and Dave Franco
we're talking about like the Fantastic Four press tour, where instead of them all just going on the Tonight Show, which I'm sure they did, whatever, but like they look like haggard refugees.
I thought they were going to kill each other, or like there was like a murder-suicide vibe among the Fantastic Four cast by the end of that press tour. Like even Moss Baccarat looked like he was at the end of like a 15-year marriage that had gone on like 5 years too long. Like that guy was so over it and could not contain it, and they were also over it. Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby are doing the movie together by the end of that press tour. They had to like meld bodies just to get through the experience, and then everyone was like, "Why are they being so weird?" Probably because you make them blindfold taste like yogurts in Times Square just because they dared to be in a movie. It's like why do we like make them do this to promote a movie? It's so fucking stupid.
See the fucking movie, please. Just see the movie so they don't have to do this anymore.
It's so stupid. And also, don't blame us. We're not BuzzFeed, okay? We didn't do this, okay? We always have an eye on quality, and that's why we're not as big as BuzzFeed, okay? And that's the only reason. Let's talk about comedy movies, Joe. You want to talk about comedy movies?
Always, only.
Let's talk comedy, baby. All right, so we saw The Naked Gun. I saw The Naked Gun. You did not get a chance to see it yet because you have a lot going on. You're on vacation. You got family stuff.
I apologize, everyone. My plans got completely botched. I blame my family.
I know the reason, and it's the most reasonable thing ever. It's totally fine.
Well, I appreciate that.
I appreciate
that.
You did watch Happy Gilmore too, though?
Yeah.
Okay, unfortunately. Okay, we'll talk about that next. All I want to say about The Naked Gun, this movie's directed by Akiva Schaffer from The Lonely Island, written by Schaffer, Dan Greger, and Doug Mann. This is the fourth film in the Naked Gun franchise. Seth MacFarlane, also the Family Guy guru, deserves a lot of credit for getting this thing over the finish line because they've been trying to make a Naked Gun reboot for a while. They actually tried to do like a direct-to-streaming thing with Leslie Nielsen before he passed. They tried to do one with Ed Helms. No offense, Ed, but thank God that one didn't go through. And then Seth MacFarlane came on board the project, and he was the one that had the bright idea of casting Liam Neeson, and then that's when the project really gained steam because everyone was like, oh yeah, that's the perfect casting. I can see it now. It all comes together. Akiva Schaffer, great choice for director. I love Seth MacFarlane doing a little George Lucas move here, saying, you know what, Akiva's better at directing than me. Let him take this. I'll just do the production side of things. So like great sort of behind the scenes teamwork to get this thing over the finish line because it is not easy to get comedies made right now. So we've got Liam Neeson here as Frank Drebin in the Leslie Nielsen role. We got Pamela Anderson here as the femme fatale. We got Paul Walter Hauser as the like assistant cop. Danny Houston is the big bad. So really incredible casting. Everyone nails their roles. Everyone is good in this movie. There's not like a weak link. Everyone's perfectly cast and nails their role. Kevin Durand as like the heavy is really good. Now, Joe, I'm like giving away jokes in this movie is worse than giving away spoilers to
totally.
Avengers Endgame. So I'm not going to recount any jokes. I will say
thank you.
There are so many good jokes in this movie. It's insane.
Yes.
Easily laughed louder and harder than at any movie in a theater for fucking 10 years probably. It's so funny. It nails the spoof. The spoof is back. It does the spoof so well, and it's funny at every level. It really is smart about which jokes from the original franchise are evergreen and which have not aged as well. So it picks out so it's not trying to totally separate itself from the Zucker movies.
Okay.
It picks out certain jokes that are just evergreen. I will tell you, Frank Drebin doing his internal monologue in the police car, it was a rainy day in Los Angeles.
Of course.
And then just
Where was I?
and then just runs over a pedestrian while he's doing the voiceover. It will never not be funny. And so they bring that back. So they know what to bring back, what is always funny. They also successfully, I thought, incorporated some more Lonely Island style absurdism into The Naked Gun, which was really great. There's one moment I will lightly recount without giving anything away because it was my favorite moment in the movie, maybe my favorite moment in a movie theater all year, where you feel there's a moment where they because everything too is very tight to the plot. This thing is 84 minutes in and out. It is so tight. There's a part where they start playing this Jefferson Starship song and they cut to this wintry cabin and it's Liam Neeson and Pam Anderson sort of getting hot and heavy for the first time for real, and you could just feel in your bones, having watched 1,000 comedy movies, they're about to go for the big joke, the big sequence joke, the big set piece joke. They're about to do the bee attack from Pop Star. They're about to here it comes. This is the big joke, and it is so fucking good. It is so funny.
Good.
It is unbelievable. They nail it perfectly.
That's amazing.
So they nail
Schaefer is so good at the big joke.
I know he's so
in
good.
Hot Rod, in MacGruber.
Yes.
He always knows how to pepper it and then hit you big and with the big running joke. I can't wait,
dude. It's so good. So they nail
I'm so happy to
the
hear
evergreen spoof stuff. They nail just the jokes. They nail the specifics, and then they nail the big 3-minute joke, the big joke. It's so good. I really enjoyed it. I my only the lightest of criticisms is that it runs out of gas a little bit in the last 15 to 20 minutes. It doesn't have for me it didn't have one great last joke in its pocket. But that's only because it was at such a high level before that. That's a very light criticism. That's the only thing keeping it from 4 stars for me to say that it was great. I went with 3.5 stars. I thought this was really, really good. Really, really good.
Dude, that's heaven. Can you imagine going to the movie theaters every weekend and they have a 3.5 star comedy out? That would be unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And I would definitely see this in theaters while it's still drawing crowds. It was so fun with the crowd. Everyone was just having a blast. It was great. Now, let's talk about another comedy movie that came out in the last 2 weeks. Happy Gilmore 2, another legacy sequel. When did the first Happy Gilmore come out? Mid-90s, 94, 95, 96, somewhere around there. Sorry, I don't have that off the top of my head. But so this was a long time coming. We finally got a Happy Gilmore sequel. This one went straight to Netflix, like most of Adam Sandler's film output in the last decade. It was directed by Kyle Newacek. He is you might know him from Workaholics. He's the fourth guy that created Workaholics that's not in the main three, but he like directs a bunch of their stuff. So he's a Workaholics guy. This was written by Sandler and his frequent collaborator Tim Herlihy, who both wrote the original Happy Gilmore. Tim Herlihy, of course, now maybe best known as the dad of Martin Herlihy of Please Don't Destroy, who is also in this movie. And we also get Julie Bowen back, Christopher McDonald back, Benny Safdie is here as the big bad, Bad Bunny's in this movie, Ben Stiller's back, Haley Joel Osment, and then probably somewhere in the vicinity of 100 cameos of various celebrities and sports figures, including every major golfer, including all the ones that I don't know. Joe, what do you think of Happy Gilmore 2?
I love Adam Sandler. But Happy Gilmore 2 was really bad. Let's all, that's facts. We saw Adam Sandler do stand-up comedy recently.
Yeah.
Funniest shit in the world. Dude, we were dying.
He still got it.
Could not be funnier, right? Like, on stage dying. Like, you've seen his specials on, Netflix, I guess, right? They're so funny. And then, Uncut Gems, like, he's a great actor. Like, there's been some great performances of his throughout his career, but like recently, including Uncut Gems, one of his great performances, one of the great performances. So, I don't know why I still hold out hope every time these Netflix movies come along, like it's going to be, like a different Sandler or something.
He has that like Lorne Michaels thing of like he needs to play to the middle, or he needs to play to the red states, or he needs to play to middle America. He has that weird Lorne Michaels itch. I wonder if he learned it at SNL or not. But it's like funny is funny. People will come to it if it's funny. Like, I don't know. I never understood that. Like, that's such like a false sort of like premise that you have to like to try to, like, you never win by trying to play to the middle in comedy, or trying to play, to middle
I guess
America.
he win financially though, right? Like, one of the tough things about Happy Gilmore 2 to like reconcile is like Sandler has to be, I'm going to make up a fact right now, one of the highest grossing comedians of all time. Yeah,
has to be
like,
easy.
Come on, right? Yeah. And he has this absolutely insanely lucrative, massive Netflix deal, and which he like satisfies diligently. He is, I'm afraid that he's like pathologically into friendship. Yeah. He's like pathologically needs to be liked or something.
He's like Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible. He like puts the entire world at risk just to save two of his friends.
Honest to God. He like, he's famous for being a wonderful dad and partner, which I'm happy to report is something awesome. I've never heard is fake. Like, that's true, right? That's amazing, right? And then he's also famously like a great hang and like loves his guys.
He calls Rob Schneider every week, according to Rob Schneider, every week for the last 3 decades.
The whole Netflix contract can almost be taken as like he's like, oh, I'm going to sign this Netflix contract, and then this will be the way I can sort of give back to everybody who's ever given to me, and also kind of like make some new friends and like have some fun. I'm going to make every single one of these a vacation movie. We're going to like, me and Jennifer Aniston, we're going to like go to Hawaii for Murder Mystery 2. Yeah. Me and the boys are going to go to like Boca for this one. Yeah. Happy Gilmore, and now this is like the pinnacle of his Netflix output. Let's take Precious IP and let's cash in. And he is like so okay with cashing in, and he's actually right. Like, it doesn't matter when he dies. No one's going to be like, he really sucked at the end there. It'll be like everybody crying because he's the Sandman we all adore and worship.
You're right though. It is less like Lorne Michaels, and because that's a very that's like a savvy business decision, like playing to middle America or whatever for Michaels on SNL. This is more like, you're right, like it's almost like some misguided version of like philanthropy or something. These movies, these like Happy Madison movies like he does. It's like
money laundering for your friends.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Just like what George Clooney did. Just come up with a tequila, Sandman tequila, and then just give all your friends $5 million and tell them to fuck off, and then make.
He's a guy in his career. I bet it was like really nice to be on set, and like it was fun to see everyone. Yeah. And they had fun working on it, and they played basketball on break, and then he went and he did saw his wife.
But the movie, Sandler, the movie.
Here's the problem. Right. Here's the problem. Is like, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I respect that. Like, Happy Gilmore 2 was a flex. Like, I was watching somebody flex on me, saying like, "Hey, do you know this really valuable IP that all of you guys would fucking trip over yourselves to acquire for $1 trillion?" He's like, as a power move, I'm going to blow it out my fucking ass in my fucking Netflix contract. It's going to be a piece of shit, and I'm going to get to hang out with the golfers I like because it's like so close to being punk rock, but it isn't, because ultimately, you know what I really wish is that fucking Sandler's film output stayed as consistent from a strength perspective as it was in the 90s. Like,
I know.
That's what I wish.
It is
that's
like,
what I wish more than anything.
And again, look, we love Sandler. We love, he ultimately can never do wrong. But like, this is getting to be lazy rich guy behavior where it's like, you had so much, you have a, like, I was watching this movie, I was like, you had a responsibility to make this better than this. Like, I don't usually think about movies in those terms, but in this one, I was like, you had so many resources. Everyone wanted to be in this movie. Margaret Qualley was willing to like play like a bit part. She's like the hottest actor in Hollywood. Like, you had so many people dying to be in this thing. You had so many resources. You had everything. Netflix doesn't shy away from spending money on movies. We saw that with The Electric State this year. You had a responsibility to make this better. This movie was lazy, almost like cynically lazy in how much it did not care about being good. And that was disappointing. That was like really, really disappointing.
I think it's a power move. I think it's like a version of a power move. There was some sort, I'm not saying it's even like cruel or mean. It's just some sort of like, I don't know, like you know, it's like a Sandler thing. It's like he wears shorts to the press store.
Yes,
it's like, we get it. But I do have to watch this for the podcast. So like, and Happy Gilmore is one of the like 10 funniest movies, 20, pick your poison, 50 funniest movies ever, right? So I don't know,
because I'm glad we're focusing on Sandler here, because I don't want to like let him sneak away with this just because we all like him so much, because there's a lot of obvious flaws. Like, it's a Netflix movie, so it looks cheap as shit from the opening credits to like did you see all that like terrible VFX? I was like, this is actually like malpractice. Like I don't need the VFX in Happy Gilmore 2 to be great, but like it's like not rendered. It's like half of the shit looks terrible. And then like the whole movie feels like a pre-recorded segment for the ESPYs. It has like that level of quality to it.
That's right.
And it doesn't feel like the sequel to a beloved comedy that means so much to so many people. The cavalcade of sports cameos is obviously stupid, but so many people wanted to be in the movie, so they had to write roles for them. Like, there is no reason why Kelsey Plum needs to be like the golf course like manager, but like if she is, why not write her like a line, or like a funny line or a good line? So there's like all the cameos are basically wasted. The one cameo I did like is that Post Malone is so bad it made me happy, because it just like totally exposes how big of like a talentless fraud Post Malone is. He is like so absent of charisma in this movie. It kind of actually made me happy, but it didn't make the movie any better. Betty Safdie is trying. Ultimately, to me, was like a net sort of neutral. Like, they didn't give him a lot of material, but he like found a couple funny things here and there, but that's about as good as you can hope for. Going from Joe Flaherty to Eminem. Oh, by the way, because like in Naked Gun, where it worked, every character is like the descendant of a character from the first movie, if that person is not still alive. If they're alive, they're in the movie. Christopher McDonald, Ben Stiller, etc. If they're not, it's like their descendant. And going from Joe Flaherty to Eminem was such a massive comedy downgrade. It was like it was like depressing. Even though that thing about Eminem getting eaten by the alligators was one of the funnier parts of the movie.
That was funny.
It was still like, but that was just like a funny bit. Like Eminem doing line reads, and then they flash back. They also like sloppily just like chop in clips. Because then you go similar downgrade, it's just like depressing. But ultimately, to me, like the worst part of this movie, the thing that really caved it in on itself, is that our guy Sandler is phoning it in so hard. He is like phoning in this performance so hard. I mean, to talk about looking tired, he looks so tired. And I think like part of that was supposed to be the character, but like the other problem is that they're like speeding through material so fast and through cameos so fast. Like, it is like a ways into the movie before the character of Happy Gilmore gets to like do a scene. And by that point, I had like almost forgotten. I was like, wait, what was Happy Gilmore's deal? He's like, I guess he's like sort of like Billy Madison, but like a little bit of the water boy. But like, what was like this specific Sandler character? And they never find it. the character, like, it's just old Sandler being old Sandler. They like never find the Happy Gilmore character, and so the movie just has this massive sort of hole at the center of it, and the whole time all you're thinking is like, okay, like they made a cheap ass Happy Gilmore sequel. It's the only thought running through your head the entire time. There's never like suspension of disbelief. I'm like in the world of this movie the entire time. Through one artifice or another, you're just constantly made aware. You're just aware that it's like I'm just watching a cheap ass Happy Gilmore sequel. Is the thought running through your head like the entire time? And why?
We've watched a couple recently. There's been a series of artist reflects on his career movies like Mission Impossible, The Final Mission, and even kind of like F1, these movies that a 60-year-old financial juggernaut gets to reframe his career or look back on it. And this is Sandler's sort of entry into that genre. And I think there's so much self-analysis in this movie, and it's so much like he's writing this like impassioned, well, not impassioned, he's not impassioned, but like it's passionate because it's a whole entire movie, like an impassioned love letter to everybody from Happy Gilmore 1 and all of his friends and his family and his daughters are in it. And it's like, dude, if you want to like be a good family man, just go be with your family and don't make the fucking movie. Like, I just
no, it's the ultimate
so
like it's the first time I felt
so
it's the first time I felt disillusioned by Adam Sandler's like good person sort of brand. It's the first time I've been like, this isn't being a good person anymore. Weird. This is just self-indulgent. This is like y'all are having a good time and we're not. And it's like, and this is a movie. You can just go on vacation. You have all the money in the world. Like if you're gonna make a movie, particularly a sequel to Happy Gilmore, make a fucking movie. But like, why are you wasting our time? This is just like, this is so fucking self-indulgent. This is like sitting there watching them do the Goodbyes on Saturday Night Live and having to be like, oh yeah, they seem to be having a great time. It's like that it's like the Goodbyes for an entire fucking movie. It's just I was really this one was a real letdown. But look, Sandler might win an Oscar this year. He's in that Noah Baumbach movie, so he'll be fine. But I don't know. This one sucked.
Whatever. Yeah. I don't know. What I wish is that he saved Happy Gilmore 2 for post Netflix contract and cared about it and put it out in the movie theaters and it was funny. But we all might have to grow up and move on and find fucking new people because
Yep.
I don't know. Like he obviously does, like, no shade. He did it. He doesn't need to make us laugh. Like he's good. He makes us laugh forever. All right. So maybe then just go, Adam. Then respectfully, with all the love in my heart, just go do stand up because obviously you still pour your whole self into that. He's so fucking funny on stage. But the films, you obviously, I don't know. Fuck it. I just don't do them anymore.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it.
We're good. Pick up the phone when the Safdies call or when Baumbach calls.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like if you got a really killer, comedy idea, fine. But like we don't need this phoned in, just running out the Netflix contract shit.
Isn't it fun? These movies where it's like, isn't it fun? We're all like remembering at the same time. It's not fun.
No, I don't need to see Travis Kelce doing this much comedy. Okay, I don't need to see Travis Kelce taking more work from UCB performers. Like I don't need it. All right, let's quickly before we go to Weekend at Bergman's talk about. So now we've talked about Naked Gun, Happy Gilmore 2. Let's talk about that proverbial question, the state of comedy in movies, the state of the American comedy movie. People have talked a lot about this topic over the last decade, about the death of the American comedy movie. There's not as many as there used to be. They're not as good as they used to be. There's not as much money lying around for them. And people are, the most recent sort of era that people compare us to is, say, like the 2000s golden age of Bridesmaids, Anchorman, Step Brothers, Superbad, etc. When Will Ferrell was at the top of his game, when Apatow was at the top of his game, Kristen Wiig. But now, this year, with movies like The Naked Gun, One of Them Days, Friendship, we're also starting to talk about the possible return of the American comedy movie. And so I put up a couple charts together here, Joe, and I want to go through them. And my questions to you are, when did comedy movies die? When did this like death start? And are they actually back? Are they actually back, or is that overstated? So let's take a look at those graphics, Gabe, starting with yes. So this is year by year, and what I did was list out any movie. I'm focusing on just American movies here. Any movie that was like a major studio swing at a comedy, or like a sort of breakthrough indie comedy, just like a big pure comedy moment in movies. And this is this is 2020 to 2025. And each year, I could only come up with about like 2 to 3 movies per year that met these qualifications. 2 to 3. And in 2024, last year, I could not find a single example that like qualified. But in the other years, 2 to 3. So we've got this year, Naked Gun, Friendship, One of Them Days. In 2023, Barbie, obviously massive comedy. Bottoms, sort of indie breakthrough. Dick's the Musical, one of the funniest movies of the last 10 years. No Hard Feelings. Remember, that was the Jennifer Lawrence movie that everyone was saying, like, oh, they made a sort of raunchy comedy again. 2022, we had Bros, which was a disaster in terms of the box office. There was a Jackass movie. There was a Bob's Burger movie. In 2021, Barb and Star and Don't Look Up, which is sort of, McKay at the still sort of trying to do a little bit of comedy. And then in 2020, Bad Trip, Borat 2, Palm Springs, King of Staten Island. So in the last like 5 to 6 years, where does this year stack up? Is comedy back in any sort of notable way, or is it just more of the same?
No, it's more of the same. It's like, once a quarter there's a comedy that does okay. I mean, I'm glad that this year's output is funnier. That's good, right? This year's output are 3 movies that, like them or not, like, I don't know, like, most people think that they're funny. Yeah. People, fans of those movies, are enjoying them. You know what I mean? So maybe comedy's funnier now. I think because, we've been living this political culture war life for almost a decade, the specific Trump era of culture wars. And that was really fractious time for comedy. Nobody could agree on what to laugh on. And as we all get, used to the fact that the world's upside down now and everyone's crazy, then, we all can just enjoy a comedy again together, I think. So that's like a little sliver of hope. But
so maybe we could say that quality is returning this year. Quantity not yet, but quality has to come first. The studios have to see these movies do well and make money before they're going to invest in them. So if quality is coming back, we can hope that that quantity will come back as well. And I will say, at the Naked Gun movie, spoofs play well right now. They might not have played well in 2016 when all this started to go south, but like they play really well right now. This is a perfect time for spoofs. People just want like cathartic laughs at the absurdity of everything. Now is the time for more spoofs. So quality definitely seems to be increasing this year over the last, couple years, but we're not seeing the quantity yet. Maybe we will. Let's look at the previous couple years, though, 2016 to 2019. Now, this is interesting because I wanted to point out, I wanted to point out 2 years in particular, 2016 and 2018. To me, 2016 was the beginning of the end for the American comedy, at least for now. And then 2018 was like the death of the American comedy movie. Because in 2016, remember how in 2024 I couldn't come up with a single movie that met my criteria for these lists? In 2016, there were 14 movies that met this criteria. 14. 2016 was the last time they that Hollywood aggressively, intentionally made tons of comedies. Still living off the high of the Apatow, Will Ferrell golden years. So in 2016 we have Popstar, the Ghostbusters reboot, Zoolander 2, Bridget Jones' Baby, Bad Moms, Bad Santa 2, Central Intelligence, the Kevin Hart movie, The Boss with Melissa McCarthy, The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, Neighbors 2, Dirty Grandpa, The Do-Over, Grimsby, Why Him, and Barbershop, The Next Cut. 2016 was the last year of quantity of a lot of comedy movies in recent memory, but it was a terrible year at the box office for all of these movies. Not a single one of these movies cracked the top 10. They didn't even get close. You have to go down to number 39 on the year-end box office to find the first one of these movies. 39. And it was the Ghostbusters movie that cost a bunch of money. And then beyond that, there were big failures. Popstar is the biggest example of a movie that it didn't cost a lot to make, but it made $9 million at the box office. That was a movie that I think the studios were expecting a lot out of. Oh, the Lonely Island guys are going to continue the tradition of Will Ferrell and Apatow and Kristen Wiig. They're the new SNL stars, so Popstar is going to hit like Anchorman hit. And Popstar obviously has been sort of rediscovered as a really funny movie. I think it's very funny. I think it's a really good movie.
Yeah,
it's not their fault that it failed. It's the fault of like this saturated market. Because look what it's up. Look what it's sort of in league with here is like tons of like sequels, half-ass sequels, legacy sequels, like poorly conceived sort of big comedies, and so the audience was like done with it. They had also like were getting their comedy from Marvel is a common excuse that Marvel, as they made their movies sort of funnier, quote unquote, that was stealing capital from stealing market share from the actual comedies. So there's a lot going on here, but 2016 is where this sort
of 2016 like our country got ripped into shreds, apart. Like, first of all, there sounds like two things. Like you already mentioned, number one is that studios were already, relying more on sequels than usual for like the comedy output. It sounds like by 2016, where they're sort of throwing spaghetti at the wall, and Sacha Baron Cohen is very popular, Kevin Hart's popular, but Grimsby was a flop, and so is Central Intelligence, kind of, right? So like I think what's happening at this point is it's. In 2015, the election starts. In 2015, Trump comes and changes the Republican Party, and Hillary Clinton and Trump rip the country apart. And all those movies in 2016, first of all, they're all mediocre, and second of all, they're all put in development in 2014. And then all the 2016 movies put into development come out in 2018, and by then it's just a fucking everything is different. So I really seriously think that is what impacted comedy. No studios knew what to buy anymore, who they were appealing to. We all couldn't decide what was funny for famously like 8 years, and now we're all sort of like slowly getting back on track. They had to make a Naked Gun movie to remind us all how a joke works. But I think we're slowly like getting back on track where it's like funny things are funny, and people can kind of get out of their own way to enjoy comedy again. I really think that's real. I never want to like put it at Trump's feet why things are the way they are, but I really think our political culture impacted comedy worse than COVID-19. And I don't mean because you couldn't tell jokes anymore. I mean because people couldn't agree on what's funny, and people are stupid, and people only listen to their politicians.
Yeah. Oh, we lost Joe a little bit there. But you're absolutely right. Like, that was a sort of cataclysmic moment that, that sort of threw comedy into disarray. And I also wanted to point out 2018. 2018 is a really interesting year because every sort of train goes off the tracks at the same time, or every train reaches the end of the station at the same time. I Feel Pretty is the end of the Amy Schumer, kind of thing. Holmes and Watson is the end of the Farrell and John C. Reilly thing. Life of the Party, I looked, is the last of those type of comedies that Melissa McCarthy has made. And Night School is basically the last, minus Jumanji, of those type of Kevin Hart comedies. So in 2018, every single like 2000s era comedy train reaches the end of the line. So 2016 is the beginning of the end. 2018 is the death for now. Look, it's coming back. It feels like it's coming back. Comedies are getting funnier again. That's the first step. Is comedies get funnier again?
What it is now? Yeah. If somebody went to a Shane Gillis concert at Madison Square Garden, everyone would say, "Oh, how was it?" But like 4 years ago, you would have been like, "That guy's fucking weird." Yeah. Like everything's have changed, and the comedy culture war thing is real. Sorry to just that happened. That really did. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And the only solution, to everything is, the only thing that's going to save the movies is the movies. It's always the way it is. Is that when the movies, because look, part of it is that, like Joe is saying, is that the people who make comedy movies got a little spooked. They didn't know what to make or how to make it or what to laugh at or what to be funny about. So everyone got a little spooked. I think that's also what created a vacuum where all of these Kill Tony and Joe Rogan comedians kind of filled that vacuum because they'll say whatever the fuck, they don't give a shit. So the real comedy writers got sort of spooked for a couple years, and then the right wing guys fill the vacuum. But now it seems to be course correcting. All the right wing guys now, the
right wing guys don't know what to joke about because like they're like afraid of what they've done to like the world, and they're kind of like confused by how everything's turned out. And now there's a new Naked Gun movie out, and it's really funny. So who knows? I think we might be course correcting. We'll see. Cross your fingers for the future of comedy. But it ain't going to be on the back of Happy Gilmore 2, that's for sure. We need more Naked Guns, and we need them fast, Hollywood. Please. My theater was rocking and rolling. Let's look at what we got next week, as Joe is getting little Zoom issues here and there. That's fine. That's fine. Next week, oh, baby. This is a big one. So in theaters next week, we're gonna see. We'll watch together. I know that came out this past weekend. We'll watch together, and we're also gonna watch Weapons, the highly anticipated follow-up to Barbarian, directed by Zach Krieger. His new movie Weapons has a killer trailer. People say it's really scary. We'll find out. We'll see. So we'll have a nice horror week between Weapons and Together. And then I really want to see Freakier Friday. The trailer rocks. I'm not a huge fan of this era of Jamie Lee Curtis, which is like perfectly exemplified by what she's doing on the poster there, just being wacky. But I like the trailer. I hopefully we'll get around to seeing Freakier Friday. And then next week on Weekend at Bergman's, oh my God, it's the Battle of New York, Brooklyn versus Manhattan. Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing versus The Muppets Take Manhattan. I cannot wait. Our 80s season rolls on with another banger. That's only going to be on Patreon, though. Patreon.com/movies, baby, with 5 Ys. And speaking of Weekend at Bergman's, we will be back here in about 5 minutes with a very special Weekend at Bergman's. It's Amadeus vs. Purple Rain, the Rival Musicians episode of Weekend at Bergman's. You're not going to want to miss it, but it's only on Patreon. So go over to Patreon, sign up, Movies Baby with 5 Ys, patreon.com/movies baby, and we will see you there. Bye.